Good evening, everybody. A happy and healthy Monday to you, and welcome to our What is Kangen Water Monday seminars. So, if you're here and it's your first time, welcome. We have lots of friends that come here to learn what is Kangen water and why is it different than everything else that is available to them. And if it's not your first time here, then welcome back. I and Richard know the feeling of, you're really excited about the water. You want to explain to your friends and family and loved ones, but sometimes it's just hard to find the right words. So, we've been doing it for 12 years, talking about Kangen water. It's our very favorite thing to do. And we're happy to help you do that. You can learn with us. You can use the chat feature and chat with us while we're presenting. You can engage with us on social media at Kangen Shop, PPSHOPP, for shared opportunity, or you can talk to us one-on-one via email at hello@shoplife.com, and we're happy to help you get the message out any which way we can. So you're going to notice that Richard and I, you may know us from different avenues, maybe our wellness centers, maybe my health practice, but you'll notice on presentations we call our aligning ourselves with SHOP. SHOP is a shared opportunity acronym, and it's a community of entrepreneurs who are experts in their field, and we work together towards helping each other achieve our goals. But more importantly, we're connected by the passion of Kangen water and how to utilize it into our everyday lives and how we can explain it as we see it from our perspectives in terms of business and profession. So that's SHOP. And we're here to share the information with you every week. So you're going to notice that we're here Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays, we talk about the water, Kangen water, what it is, why it's different, where it comes from, and we show you what those differences are because, talk is talk. So it's great to see live what the difference is. And then on Tuesdays, we talk about the value of Kangen water and the opportunities that it brings. So, in terms of business, we have a specialist, cash flow specialist and financial advisor. And from his perspective, he finds a lot of different opportunities available. So you may be aware that there is built-in rewards, but more than anything, there are many opportunities in relationship to sharing the water. So we invite you to join us on Tuesdays. We talk about lots of different aspects of Kangen water's opportunities, and you might find something new and different and inspiring or enlightening or interesting. So please, we'll see you on Tuesdays and hope to see you tomorrow. So without further ado, we're going to get on with today's presentation. Our special premier hostess with the mostest is presenter with the presentist is Richard Chang, my brother and business partner. He's been a certified senior trainer for over 10 years, and he's a business graduate, a master's business graduate, and he's got his fingers on the pulse of the business community and how people in the GTA and actually globally are utilizing Kangen water in their businesses, helping them to not only improve their physical health and well-being, but to improve their businesses and opportunities elsewhere. So he's the guy that is talking and sharing and helping and supporting all of our community with Kangen water and everything to do with it day in and day out. So he's the guy that you want to be listening to on Mondays. He's also the co-founder of the Shared Opportunity Platform, the educational platform from the professional experts. And most importantly to me, he's father to my nephew and husband to my sister-in-law. And Kangen water has really been the vehicle that he's been able to support a happy, healthy, and wonderful family. So here he is, without further ado, Richard Chang, MBA.
Thank you, Sharon. I hear the round of applause from everybody. Sharon, thank you again for the great introduction. And she's actually one who introduced me to Kangen water way back when in 2008. So I really thank her to this very day. It's been 10 plus years, and I'll never forget the moment where she said, you got nothing to lose, just try it out. And if it doesn't work out for you, you can always go back to whatever you were doing and your medications that you were taking and things like that for my digestion problem. So I thank Sharon for really kind of opening my eyes to it and I wouldn't say she pushed me, but she definitely was persistent in encouraging me to try this water out. And so that's what we do here is we want people to try by having an open mind to learn about what it is, to try by sampling. Actual water is made by the machine freely, so it's not like you have to open up a package and try this water out. No, it's simply through the machine that somebody is sharing that water with you. So that's why you're likely here today. So I appreciate you taking the time. This is an unusual platform. Usually we're used to doing live presentations in front of people, but because of the new normal, because of this current situation, we're doing this online, which is actually given us a new lease on it, that there is something, a way to communicate to a larger audience, a global audience at one time. So this is something that has, I think that will continue on week in and week out. And we've been doing this for a few months now, and it's shown tremendous success. So thank you, Sharon. I'll let Sharon go. She doesn't need to be here for the presentation part of it. She'll be back at the end of the presentation. My job here is really education. It is not to sell you on anything. It is really just to give you evidence and give you reasons to know that this water is something that has a history to it. There is science behind it. So everything I'm presenting to you is stuff that I've researched over the last 10 plus years. But especially initially when a lot of people, including myself, when you first hear about it, it sounds a little weird, right? It's like this water system that costs a few $1,000s and, sounds like a filter. And when you think about a filter, you think about Brita, and that's not expensive. But then you understand through this demonstration, through somebody educating you, that there is differences in the properties of this water and what this machine can do, and this technology that comes from Japan that can provide so many different types of water. It's not just simply for drinking. So it goes well above and beyond just simply a filtration system. Okay, so that's my job here, is to educate. Okay, and I appreciate you taking the time on a Monday. You could be doing so many other things on this day, but you decided to be here to learn more, and we truly appreciate that. So I want to give you as much value for your time here that I possibly can, and that's what I intend to do. And so when you walk away from this, that you have a better understanding about what this water is and what the machine does. And then also that you would be inclined to be like, you know what, I need to share this information with other people. I need to invite people to this presentation to get a better understanding, because I can't really verbalize it myself, but I know that if they attended it, they will get a better understanding of what I'm talking about when I start to share the benefits of what this water and this technology is. So let's get started, okay? So when we talk about water, obviously, when it comes to our health, the benefit to every single human being on this earth, and that is, whatever your country you're from, whatever age, whatever, health condition you're in, you need water, and you need it to survive. It's not even just to, just for the drinking aspect and hydration, but you need it to live on this earth, right? And everything that happens within your body happens through what's called interstitial fluids. And your body is essentially bags of water. You're 70 to 75% water. Your brain is over 80% water. Your blood is over 90% water. So everything, when it comes to digestion, when it comes to cardiovascular health, when it comes to your bones, even your bones are 13% water. That it has an impact on, first of all, drinking enough water, and then second of all, drinking the right type of water. So the water you drink is essential. It's like the fuel in your car, or the oil that you use. There are different grades of it for a reason. And there's better water, better fuel, better oil, but also better water for you. So you have to understand that water is not all the same, okay? So how much water should you be drinking, right? We suggest that you should be drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water for the average adult. And I know that majority of people do not drink nearly enough, right? If you asked 10 people on the street, not only would they not have heard of Kangen water, but even just the simple fact that they're not drinking enough water in general, that is a huge problem because they're operating on a constant, constantly dehydrated. Because why is it recommended that you drink 8 to 10 glasses of water? Why is it recommended that you drink that 2.5 liters of water every single day? It's because that is just for maintenance. That is what your body uses and eliminates on a daily basis. So, when you go to the bathroom through urination, through defecation, when you're moving, you're losing it through perspiration. When you're breathing, you're losing it through respiration. So all of these ways that you're losing water, what are you putting back into the system, right? So how are you replenishing that lost fluid, right? So are you drinking coffee? Are you drinking tea? Are you drinking a majority of soda or juices, right? A lot of people don't nearly drink enough to get back what they've lost. And what happens is my sister actually best describes it. It's like having a wallet full of, let's say, $1,000, okay? And you're born with that. But over time, you keep spending money, but you never put money back into the wallet, right? A couple bucks here today, a couple bucks there the next day. And then what happens is you start to go broke. And that's what happens to your body. We operate at the deficit or we become dehydrated. So that's why water is so key. When you think about health, a lot of people talk about food. Maybe you're eating an organic diet. Maybe you're eating, a vegetarian diet. So you care about what you put into your body. Maybe you're taking vitamins or supplements to put that into your system, and you're spending a lot of time and money and research and to investigate what is the best thing to put into your body in terms of food. But I would argue that what's even more important than food is, the most important thing is air. And then the second most important thing is water. So if you think about priorities for human beings, it's air, water, and then food. I can survive more than a month without food as long as I have air and water. I can survive, not that I would do that, but that's the reality of it, right? And human beings can survive about a week without water, not even a week, but if they didn't have water, they basically would, also have a problem, major problem over a few days. And then over a few minutes, right, without air, also leads to a problem. So when it comes to the priorities and the ranking of those priorities, we're talking about water as being so key, so fundamental for so many people. And that's what we talk about day in and day out when we talk about Kangen water and how important it is to drink that on a daily basis. If anything, like if you're, if you're looking and interested in putting the right type of water into your system on the right quantity of it, this is the water that you should be using, okay? Because what are your other options? When it comes to water, typically you have a few options. Tap water is your municipal water that comes through the taps. There is enough studies that shows there is problems with that. I'm not saying it's poison water that's coming out of it, but when it comes to the contaminants that are in the water, the pollutants that are in your tap water, there's enough studies that show that there are things like that, over 300 in this case, that come from your tap water. And then you also have one of those is a main component that the actual city puts into the water, which is chlorine. That's a well-known carcinogen. It is a harmful toxin. That is something that, over time, it cleans the water. So it's essentially a bleach that cleans your tap water from viruses and pathogens. But what happens is you put that into your system, into your digestive tract, and then ultimately what happens is it starts to kill off microbes that are valuable within your digestive tract. So that is a problem when we consume things like chlorine. And then you also have heavy metals. In Toronto, there is actually reports that there is very high levels of lead in our taps. We are an old city, and you may not be in Toronto. You may be in Hamilton. You may be in Montreal. These are also old cities where their water supply is from old pipes that have never been changed in a number of decades. And what happens is that lead gets into our water supply. There's not much in terms of filtration when it comes to something like a tap aerator or anything like that, or even Brita. It's not enough to get rid of a lot of the contaminants that exist in the water, okay? So you can see some of these old pipes. And actually there's neighborhoods or pockets within Toronto where they haven't changed the pipes, and the amount of lead tested is about the same levels as Flint, Michigan, 5 times the regulated amount, right? So that's a major problem when it comes to our source water. Purified water. So some people are, into filtration. And I know that a lot of people hear about, reverse osmosis and distilled water, and they're interested to get rid of all the toxins, the total dissolved solids in their water. But the problem with that is that it actually takes out not only the bad components in the water, or they call it TDS, total dissolved solids in the water. Okay, but what happens is that they also take out all the good minerals. So actually, our water has essential minerals. Okay, studies have shown that we get a source of calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, things that our body utilizes and functions is not only coming from food, but it also comes from our source water. And so when you remove everything, when you purify that water that does not exist in nature, what you're doing is getting rid of those essential minerals. And that water, which becomes a solvent, it actually, that purified water, it actually is able to absorb minerals from your body. So it pulls minerals from your body because it's pulling minerals from stones and rocks when it goes down a river. It's pulling minerals from the waterfall, So of course, when it goes into your system, your body balances that out internally, and it's going to demineralize your system. So according to the World Health Organization, there is actually an adverse health effect or adverse influence on animals and human beings when they drink purified water, which whether it's reverse osmosis or distilled water, on a continual basis, right? So each and every day you're having that glass, you're actually pulling minerals when you eliminate your fluids. So big problem, okay? So purified water, I'd stay away from that. And bottled water. Bottled water is something that is a multi-billion-dollar industry. There is so much information that is going out right now about the negative effects of bottled water. If you are still buying bottled water, I suggest that you start to look for other options, because bottled water, there's several key things that are knocks against bottled water. And I used to work for a company called Pepsi, and my job was actually to market bottled water that they came out with, which was Aquafina. And so I thought all water was, as long as it's clean, it's good. But I didn't realize the impact that it had, not only in, the health. So for example, it's purified water, but also they're finding that plastics, now microplastics, are within the bottled water. So over 93% of bottled water tested on a global level has found that they found that there is plastics in the water. We consume, I know this is scary, but we consume, they estimate, about a credit card size amount of plastic on a weekly basis, not on a monthly or an annual basis, but a weekly basis. So this is a major concern for all of us, and should be, okay? So when it comes to the health, that's not a good thing. And also it's made in plastic, so you're gonna get the leaching of the chemicals of the plastics into the water as well. We also, on a citywide level, okay, studies have shown that, we consume in Toronto about 100 million plastic water bottles every single year. 100 million, and we have a pretty good recycling program, whereas other cities don't have that. But even with our recycling program, 35% of that does not get recycled. So that leaves, if I did my math right, 35 million plastic empty containers or water bottles that are thrown into the landfill, that end up in our parks, in our beaches, in our waterways, in our, you go on a hike and you sometimes you see a bottled water cap. It's really, unfortunate. And actually the statistics shows that actually the first piece of plastic or the first bottled water that was ever made still is on this earth to this day. So you can understand that these plastics don't go away, and they just kind of start to accumulate and start to build up and build up and build up. And this is a major problem. Okay, so environmentally, this is a concern. Then you think about in terms of the cost. So you talk about the health cost, you talk about the environmental cost, but financial cost as well. We are spending a lot of money on bottled water. The average Canadian household, which is, let's say, 4 people on average, is spending about $1,400 per year on bottled water alone, okay? And that's if they're consuming enough, okay? So this is where we talk about that in terms of the, the cost to us, right? That when it comes to Kangen water, to be able to produce the best water on your own, in your own kitchen, as opposed to buying it on a daily basis or a weekly basis. And you go to Costco, you go to No Frills, and there's just stacks upon stacks of these bottled waters that people are buying. You realize that it's actually throwing money away. It's literally flushing it down the toilet, right? So you're spending that amount anyways in less than 3 years, let's say. Okay. So this is the biggest problem, and this is what happens and where it ends up, right? So it is something that I've taken on personally because I come from that industry, that I want to get rid of this bottled water, detriment to our world, our planet, our community, as much as possible, and to educate as many people as possible as to the dangers of it, and it's well documented. Okay, so. What if there was a better choice? Obviously, we're talking about Enagic's Kangen water systems, okay? And one thing to note is, again, these are not filtration systems. These are considered medical devices in Japan, where they're all made. And this is our product line. It's not a huge product line, but it is what we are at Enagic. This is what is promoted. This is the bread and butter to what they are selling, okay? And this is really producing not only drinking water, but we're going to talk about all 5 different types of water. So why choose Kangen water? Well, let's talk about the water that you're going to consume. The water that you consume, which is Kangen water, 8.5 to 9.5, has 3 major properties. One of it is antioxidant, the other one is alkalinity, and the last one is the structure of the water, and we call it microclustering, okay? So those 3 properties is what essentially creates Kangen water, what Kangen water is. Actually, Kangen in Japanese means return to origin. So that's a Japanese word that has been tagline. It's essentially electrolyzed reduced water, or alkaline ionized water. So if you wanted to do your research, go to PubMed. Don't just do Google searches, okay? A Google search is just opinions. And obviously these days, everybody has an opinion about something. But really, if you want to go into evidence, go into the science. I'm big on science. I'm big on research. That you want to go into things like Google Scholar or PubMed, where you're going to find a lot of great information and a lot of great research on electrolyzed reduced water and ionized water, okay? So that first property I'm showing you now is antioxidation. Antioxidation is essentially the opposite of oxidation. It is the anti-aging aspect of the water. It helps to protect your body from its breakdown. The breakdown happens through what's called oxidation. So free radicals that may exist in the food you eat, what you drink, and in the air you breathe, that is something that attacks your cells and steals electrons from the cells. What the Kangen water provides you, and why we always recommend to drink it fresh, is because it has this high potential for antioxidation, okay? So that's measurable in what's called ORP. ORP stands for oxidation reduction potential. Does it have the potential to reduce oxidation, which is a negative number? Okay, so you can see the scale going to all the way to like negative 600. Okay, it goes even further. But when it comes to things we ingest, typically it's going to be what we're looking for is on the negative side to be an antioxidant. So you've heard green tea, vitamin C are all considered antioxidant. Positive would be things like sports drinks and soda, that the more positive it is, the more oxidative it is. So we don't want that, okay? That increases the aging process or the oxidation process. So think cutting an apple in half and leave it on the table. When it turns brown, that is oxidation, okay? So here's a demonstration to show you that, okay? So I'm going to show this video. I'm going to talk over it. But essentially, this is a great demonstration using what's called an ORP meter. And that ORP meter is right there. And you can see that probe waving that in the air. It means that it's positive, that air itself is a positive charge. And as you can see, I'm going to pour in a few examples. I got a couple of bottled waters there, Dasani and Aquafina. Both are reverse osmosis waters. Dasani has been remineralized. I got Perrier, which is a sparkling water. And I got soda, represented by 7-Up. Okay, but it goes the same with Coca-Cola or Sprite. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then I got my K8. my 8-plate model, okay? But before I go to that, let's go to the ORP value of Dasani. You can see it's a positive 260 around there. With Aquafina, you're looking at low 300s or high 200s. Perrier, okay, jumped about 100 points to about high 300s, low 400s. Soda, 450, 425, okay? That's a positive ORP. Now, let's go to tap water. So this is Toronto City tap water at my place. And you can see it's a positive 400, 390. And I want you to see what happens. When I flip the switch, that water is now passing through the machine. Okay, that same source water from the tap now passes through the plates. And you can see this is what happens. You get a negative charge. You see that negative sign right there? And you can see starting to climb, negative 400, 420, and so forth. Okay, so that's showing you that the only thing on that screen that is negatively charged is going to be the Kangen water, okay? So let's take that tap water, and let's pretend that's your body, okay? In your body, a big bag of water is exposed to free radicals constantly. You have a positive charge. So when you're drinking Kangen water, what happens? You basically neutralize or nullify that oxidation. So that's what the power of Kangen water, and that's what it can do for us when we're talking about drinking it fresh and almost directly from the machine. Okay? So that is the example or the demonstration of antioxidant property of the water. And that's just the one thing. If that alone, people buy antioxidants all the time, cod liver oil, certain omega 3s, certain things that are considered antioxidants. People take those types of supplements, whereas that you can get that from your water, and you can get a significant amount of it from the water. So the second property I wanted to show you is the pH. So in terms of the pH, we're talking about the alkalinity of water, and you've heard that term before too, because something that a lot of people are promoting and talking about, like even like a Tony Robbins and other educators on health and mental health and things like that, that pH is very important to help maintain your physical health, right? So in terms of your body's natural pH, okay, when it comes to your cells, okay, it's bathed in, and of course, I'm not talking about the digestive tract. I'm talking about, in terms of your cells within the body and your blood. So you should be at 7.4. So 7.4 is slightly on the alkaline side. If you look at the pH scale that I have here, you go from 0 to 14. 7 is neutral, 7.0 is neutral. Anything below it is acidic. Anything above it is alkaline. So 7.4 is going to be on the alkaline side. But what happens is, our body self-regulates. It wants to stay at 7.4, but we consume things, we do things that make our body acidic, okay? And most often, it's going to the acidic side. 99% of the time, it tends to be those things that are making us acidic, whether it is the food that we eat, like meats, animal proteins, dairy products, processed foods, alcoholic beverages, things that push us into an acidic state, okay? And then our body has to really fight to get back to 7.4, right? Yes, we can eat fresh fruits and vegetables. That'll help us to remain alkaline. But, when it comes to most people's diets, it tends to be like 80 to 90%. It may not be anybody on this audience, but I'm telling you, when it comes to the average diet, it tends to be, the acidic foods is like 80 to 90%, whereas the alkaline foods are only like 10, 20%. So we need to flip that around, right? And also stress can have an impact, right? When you're super stressed out, what happens to your blood pressure? What happens to your, headaches form, digestive tract has a problem, immune system drops. So these types of things resulting from the stress that produces lactic acid or other acidity within the body. And so that's really a problem when it comes to stress as well. So we want to reduce that. We want to get back to an alkaline. So we want to assist our body to get back to 7.4. We can put that in the types of beverages that we drink. Now, let me show you when it comes to the waters that we're drinking or consuming, okay? So with those same containers or same brands, I'm going to put a few drops in each of them, and you're going to see a change of color. So based on the color, yellow and orange is going to be acidic. Okay, purple and blue is going to be alkaline, and you can see that none of them are purple and blue. So all of them are on the acidic side. Okay, now when I produce Kangen water, I want to show you what the pH is. I push a button, 9.5, the highest level we recommend to consume, and you have water that helps to neutralize that. That goes from acidic now to alkaline. But you can see when it comes to bottled water, yeah, that's relatively easy because it's only slightly acidic, okay, which is not good to drink anyways. But you can see that when it comes to Perrier or sodas, those are really, really acidic. And that's because of carbonation and the fact that soda, and I'll show you what happens when you have even diluted soda, how it changes that from once very alkaline to now acidic. Because now soda has carbonic acid or carbonation, as well as it has sugars. So when it comes to breathing, when you breathe in oxygen, right? That helps to alkalize your body. Okay. When you breathe out carbon dioxide. You breathe out carbonic acid. So you're removing the acid waste from your system. But when you consume, carbonated beverages, that's what you're putting back into the system, right? So when it comes to SodaStream or San Pellegrino or Perrier, it doesn't matter, right? The fact that soda has sugar and that's really what makes it a double whammy, okay? So I hope that was enlightening to you to kind of stay away from those types of beverages. And again, you don't have to live in a bubble, but just to know that is a problem. And the difference between our water and alkaline water, because alkaline water, you may see in a store shelf, okay? And the problem with that is that it's, again, sitting in a store shelf, that they may have added inorganic minerals or sodium bicarbonates into the water to increase the pH levels. You can add that to any type of water and it'll turn purple, okay? But it's not necessarily good for us to consume that because, again, it may have a positive ORP. The water may have other harmful, carcinogens, but we're adding that just to change the pH, right? Or a lot of other companies are doing that. Not only that, it's sitting on a store shelf, and you don't know how long that water's been there for, right? So if I were to ask you the question of if you rather drink from a waterfall versus a pond, right? And this goes for any bottled water, to be honest with you. When it comes to that question, whether you would drink from a pond water or a waterfall water, what would your answer be? Okay? If you were to take that time to just answer that question, I would guarantee that 99.99% of people would say waterfall water. Even children answer that question and say waterfall water because instinctually as human beings, we know the difference between fresh flowing water, right? Natural water versus stagnant water, and bottled water in any form is stagnant water, okay? And so that's what happens when it comes to alkaline water that has minerals added to it, okay? Whereas our water is electrolyzed water, and so it's alkalized. And so there's a difference because we use just energy and the positive and negative charge that the properties come out as alkaline and as well as negative ORP. And the last thing that I'll show you is the structure of that water. So in terms of the structure, as a result of this electrolysis, electrolyzed water, that those hydrogen bonds are broken. So hydrogen, H2O, is not just floating around by itself. H2O is bonded to other H2O molecules to create a cluster. And so this is not a scientific word, but it just describes what happens when it goes through a Kangen water system. And any of those systems will help to reduce the size of the structure of the water. So it's still H2O, of course. Otherwise, it wouldn't be water, right? But because there is a different surface tension or thickness to the water, a lot of people find that it's very light. I know when I first tried the water, nobody told me about it, but I just noticed that when I was drinking it, it was very airy. And I don't know if you felt the same way, but there's a reason behind that. It's because it's not as thick and it's not as heavy as your other water. So what does that mean for you? So ultimately what that means is it's going to help to absorb into your body much more effectively. And here's an example how it's doing that, okay? So when it comes to this example, we're going to take a tea bag. It's a green tea bag, okay? And I'm going to put it into a cup, and I'm going to turn on the tap water, and that tap water, I'm going to fill it up. And typically, what do you have to do to the water to make tea? You have to boil the water. But you can see there's no boiled water. It's coming straight from the tap. So I'm going to take that same water. I'm not changing the temperature of the water, but now I'm going to pass it through the machine. At 9.5 pH, I'm going to add water to it. And that same tea bag, look what's happening. I'm making tea. Okay. Now, some people say, well, you made the tea bag wet already. So let's go back to tap water. Again, just flipping that switch, diverting the water back to the tap. And again, it's not making any tea. And then taking Kangen water with that same tea bag, and I'm making tea. Now, if you were at a live demonstration, you'd be able to taste the difference. You'd be able to smell the difference, that you've made cold tea with essentially Kangen water. And so this is a demonstration of the absorption, that water is absorbing into that tea bag much more effectively than it is when it's tap water. So if you look at regular water, because of the size, if you think about like a chain link fence and you throw a whole bunch of rocks at the fence, some of it will go through, some of it doesn't. But if you have a handful of sand and threw it through that fence, most of it will go through. And that's what Kangen water is, because the structure is microcluster, because it has that ability to not only hydrate your cells, get into the cells through those aquaporins, but also to be able to better detoxify you as well. So the things that get into your cells that are not easy to get out, the only way to transport it out of the cells is, guess what? Through fluids. Okay, if it's not getting into the cells, then what happens is it's going to reside there. So we want to help detoxify. That's why initially when we drink Kangen water, we always recommend to drink it 8.5 to not detoxify you too quickly, because we don't want to discourage you from drinking this water, because we know that this water will detoxify people quickly. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so you can see that penetration. I'm going to pause this for a second. If you were to look at a red blood cell analysis, your red blood cells compared to, from the moment you wake up to after drinking coffee and after drinking water, and in this case, we have the last panel, which is showing after Kangen water, there is significant differences in your red blood cells, and this is immediate. So check it out. 10 times the zoom, you're looking at the first panel, which is waking up. Not much is happening, right? You haven't had water for 8 hours or 6 hours or whatever the amount of time you've been sleeping. But if you compare it to drinking coffee, you can see it's a bit better, but you're still, in terms of the structure of the water, the structure of your red blood cells, the clustering of it, it's a problem. And it's reducing your circulation. Whereas Kangen water, you can see there's a major difference in the flow as well as the size of the water. Okay. Now, that is in essence all that is Kangen water. Kangen water has all of these three properties to essentially make it Kangen water. Otherwise, without any of it, it's not Kangen water. Okay. Now, there are other things that the water produces in terms of other pH levels, other properties. So one of them is being the beauty water. So beauty water is slightly acidic. It's not for drinking. It is fantastic for the skin. So when it comes to beauty products, when it comes to vitality and the look and image and stuff like that, beauty water is fantastic because your skin's natural pH is slightly acidic. And what people buy in terms of toners and expensive products like that, they will spend money to rebalance the pH of their skin. Our machine produces gallons or pennies per gallon when it comes to beauty water. You can produce copious amounts of this, apply that to the skin, and I've seen it help people with eczema, psoriasis, acne, just rebalancing the pH of the skin, and you'll notice a difference. Obviously, you want to drink the Kangen water, but the beauty water will be used as an application on top of the skin, okay? And that's a tremendous benefit for a lot of people, okay? The other water that I talk about a lot, especially in this time, we're talking about a pandemic. We're talking about really cleaning and helping to sanitize and protect our body from germs and viruses and things like that. We have a water that's being produced from the machine, laboratory tested, that has the ability to kill so many forms of pathogens. Okay, we're talking about a strong acidic water, which is essentially hyperchlorous acid. Okay, so a little bit of salt is added, but through the same machine, no chemicals, no bleach or anything like that, you're producing a water that has, at 2.5, has the ability to kill bacteria. Okay, I want to show you this video.
Thanks to research by Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, they can use a new disinfectant to improve food safety: electrolyzed water. To create electrolyzed water, a special reactor is filled with salt and water. An electric current causes these chemicals to react at the electrodes. This is electrolysis. As the pH level of the solution on one side of the reactor moves from 7 to 2.8, becoming more acidic, disinfecting molecules of hypochlorous acid, chlorine ions, and hydrogen ions form. With these new properties, the water kills or inhibits the growth of a vast range of microorganisms on contact, including germs that lead to food poisoning and even the viruses that cause HIV and hepatitis. Electrolyzed water also eliminates pesticide residues and mycotoxins and reduces germination rate of certain fungal spores. Electrolyzed water also has no adverse impact on the environment. Because it leaves no toxic residue, it can be used to wash fresh foods without affecting taste and quality. Last but not least, this disinfectant is very economical because it must be produced on-site, on demand. This eliminates the costs associated with bottling and transporting. Electrolyzed water could improve the safety and extend the shelf life of fresh pre-cut fruits and vegetables, providing processors with significant savings while helping the food processing industry become more ecological. Simple, isn't it?
So I hope that was a helpful video. Why I like to share it is because it comes from the government of Canada. It is actually from the agricultural department. And basically they're touting the benefits of electrolyzed reduced water because of the aspect of cleaning, right? So when it comes to like Salmonella, Listeria, E. coli, these are lab tested results that show you, and we're gonna hand those out. By the way, I've handed out a number of files, PDFs that you can download, that you can print out on your own. These are documentations that we want to share with you to provide you with the proper knowledge about what this water can do. So lab tests, here's copies of them that we're going to hand out to you. And you can see, even when it comes to like super bug, several different things. That's what, when it comes to the Japanese hospitals, why they're utilizing it in Japan is not only for the drinking water, but it is also to sanitize, the surgical areas, surgical tools, washing of the hands. So it's pretty remarkable how this applies to not only in a medical facility, but also restaurants, also in terms of spas and other places, retail environment, your home. So all of these things are value when it comes to the strong acidic water and what it can do for the average household. Now, the last water I want to show you is the strong alkaline water. So the strong Kangen water actually has the ability to clean as well. It's a different type of cleaning. It is actually decreasing. So the other one's disinfecting, this one is decreasing. And what it's doing is helping to break down oil that may end up on your clothes, but even more importantly, when it comes to your fruits and vegetables. When your fruits and vegetables come to you or you buy that in a store, oftentimes they have that waxy layer. And if it's coming from a farm in, wherever, another country, let's say, or even in Canada, they will have it sprayed with chemicals. And those chemicals are herbicides and pesticides and insecticides and things that are oil-based. So what I want to show you is the ability that strong Kangen water can clean your fruits and vegetables before they hit your plate. Okay, so here's a demonstration of that. I'm able to make strong acidic as well as strong Kangen water. So strong Kangen water is in that black bottle. I like it, keep it stored in a dark container. And I've taken some tomatoes, just cherry tomatoes that you buy in the local grocery store. These are called sweet ones. You'll probably find that in your grocery store. I'm going to fill 2 glasses up with those tomatoes. Now, normally we would wash our tomatoes, or the average person would wash their tomatoes in tap water, right? So I'm going to pour tap water into these tomatoes, or into this glass. And strong alkaline water. Again, you can see it's just water. But the pH is very high, so we're not drinking that. But we're going to use that to clean our tomatoes in that second glass. Now, while that's sitting there and soaking, I'm going to take sesame oil, which is a dark oil. I'm going to pour it in 2 glasses. And the reason is because I'm going to show you what happens when water mixes with oil. So normally in tap water, with tap water or any other type of water, oil and water doesn't mix. Oil floats to the top, as you can see there. But let's take this strong alkaline water and show you what it does with that oil. It's essentially emulsified that oil. It's broken it down so it looks almost like milk, right? Now, with your tomatoes in tap water, this is what comes off of it. What you probably see, or what many people see on a daily basis. But with people who have a Kangen water system, this is what comes off of it. You can see the difference, right? So you can see that one has this discoloration. That is the herbicides and pesticides. That is the chemicals that are sprayed on those produce. So that is something that is also a huge value, especially in the home. You're trying to eat healthy, but you're still ingesting chemicals when you're washing produce in just your tap water. And actually, it's shown that actually chlorine and things that are in tap water get into the produce as well. So anyways, so there are all the aspects, all the applications of the different types of water that this machine produces. So obviously it goes well beyond just a filtration system. No other filter is going to produce water that is used for cooking, for cleaning, for disinfecting, for food preparation, for skin conditioning, all these different things, in addition to drinking the best type of water. Now, these machines, like I said before, are made in Enagic. It's a Japanese company. Their mission is essentially to spread true health globally, one family at a time. And true health essentially means that it's not only in terms of your physical health, but we're talking about physical, financial, and your mental health. So all 3 of these is truly where you get healthy, right? And people and Canadians are looking for that. Actually, around the world, people are looking. Maybe they're healthy physically, but financially, they have the disease of the pocketbook, I like to say, or vice versa. Maybe you are financially well off, but you have a physical ailment. So these are typically why Enagic resonates with so many people, and why at Shop we've aligned ourselves with Enagic, because we believe in the same sort of principles that Enagic has. Okay. Some certifications just to show you that this is a medical device in Japan since 1965. Here's the government of Japan, the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, certifying that this is medical equipment. So certifying that Enagic produces medical equipment and I showed you that Enagic only produces these ionizers essentially. So this is why it's used in hospitals across Japan. You also have Water Quality Association, the Gold Seal, which means that every part of the machine is safe, that and it does what it's supposed to do, that it's not just for the filter, it is actually for every aspect of the machine. Hoses, the plates, everything is safe, and we're the only ionizers that has this Water Quality Association Gold Seal. Kangen water is trademarked and patented. I'll tell you that the next presentation tomorrow, we'll get into another patented system, which is the ability to share this water with people. So you'll want to learn about that tomorrow. ISO, International Standards Organization. So I'm just going to go through some of them, but like literally these are third-party associations that show the credibility, show the recognition that Enagic has had. This one particularly, the ISO 1345. Essentially, if you can read, if you have really good eyes, it says the design, manufacturing, service, and distribution of electrolysis water generators for medical use. Again, this is why it is considered a medical device. I just consider it a life-altering device. And this is the science behind it. So at the end of the day, positive charge, negative charge, water's passing through those plates. The more plates you have, the more powerful the machine is. And this is what happens. Some of the ions that are alkaline go to one side and the acidic ones go to the other side. That's why you have two different streams of water. And that's why you have what's called active hydrogen in the water, which is your antioxidant property. So those small bubbles that you may see in your Kangen water when you produce it, that is hydrogen. That is the antioxidant property, and that's what's good for you. Okay, so here's a side profile of the machine. Water comes from the tap. First, it goes through a filtration, and then it goes through these plates. The plates are, again, titanium and platinum plated. So what is the cost of the machine? Well, because it's titanium and platinum plated, that's where the real heart of the machine is. That's the engine. But those are expensive metals because they're safe and because they're durable. They'll last you not years, but decades. I'm talking about a machine that is intended to last you like for a lifetime, essentially, because its ability to produce the same results day in and day out. I have machines at my wellness center from 12 years ago, and we continue to produce water in gallons for people to try for free so that they can experience the benefit for themselves. I know that people on this call or on this webinar have gone through that process, tried that water, found out it's something special about it, and that's why. But they were produced from the same machine that we got 12 years ago, okay? So they range. Right now, the pricing for these machines range from $4,000 to $5,000. These are our flagship models. This is essentially Canadian pricing. And I know that for a lot of people, this is like, wow, this is initially seems like a significant amount. But when you think about all the costs that when you're talking about saving on bottled water, saving on beauty products, saving on, in terms of strong acid and strong alkaline water, the value of that, I hope that you understand that even just simply using it just for yourself and for your family, that there is tremendous amount that you can get from this over a number of years. And I know that in terms of just on bottled water alone, you're saving it within 5 years. So if you look at these machines, these are our flagship models. The reason why they're the flagship models is because they have the robust plates that will produce these results. 7 and 8 plate models. The K8 is your ultimate unit. I consider the SD501 original and SD501 Platinum as your workhorse models. So all of them are able to produce all 5 different types of water and for all those different applications. And again, it is something that is intended to last and be durable, and that's what you get with these machines. Okay, they far surpass any of the competitors out in the industry that may tout that they have ionizers, but they don't have the same number of plates, or they don't have the same quality of plates, and that's really important. Ours are all solid as opposed to mesh or slotted or any way that people can save on the plates themselves. Okay, and that's really the true cost. Okay, now for most people, you can look into different ways to get the machine through in-house financing or through Medicard. In-house basically is a no-interest payment plan that you put 25% down and you can pay it up to 16 months. But you also have Medicard. Medicard is a Canadian financing company that does financing for medical equipment, for medical procedures. So they'll do something that is equal payments over a 6-year period. And then you can do a cash or credit card. Or if you need to figure out what works best for you, what machine may suit your needs, if you're interested in a particular unit and you wanted to know how you can get into financing it and figuring out how to pay for that, we offer consultation, and it's free. You can talk to us. We are able to analyze your situation. We have Hans Michael, who's a cash flow specialist, as Sharon mentioned in the top of the presentation, as well as a financial advisor who's able to kind of help you to kind of understand where you can move some money around to be able to purchase and invest in one of these machines. Okay, and so there's no cost to that. There's no obligation to buy. It's just simply to give you an understanding that this is something that can fit in your household, that can offer you benefit day in and day out for, like I said, 30, 40, 50 years. Okay, so thank you for your time. This is my presentation. I hope there was some value for every single person on this. That was my goal. I think I went a little bit long. Typically, we like to keep this under 50 minutes, but I hope that all of it was of value to you. So if you wanted to reach out to me or our team, you can contact us at hello@shoplife.com, shopping SHOPP. And yeah, we can talk. You can ask any questions about the water itself, the technology, the company, which machines, and so forth. So I already covered that. Thank you again, Sharon. I see you're back.
Well done, Richard. That was one of my most favorite presentations.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody, thanks again for joining us this Monday. Don't forget that we're here every Monday to share the good word of Kangen water. And don't forget, everyone always has a process. My personal experience was we drank the water. It changed my body. I bought a machine. It changed my business. The machine changing my business saved my business. It also was able to afford me to go back to school and get a master's in osteopathic sciences, and enabled me to have maternity leave. So Kangen water really offers a lot of great opportunities, and that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesdays, is the value of Kangen water and the opportunities that it brings. So Richard didn't really point out the button that the machine has, a sharing feature that says, if you share the Kangen water or you share water and people decide to purchase a machine, there's opportunity involved. So please join us tomorrow and learn a little bit more about that. Thanks again, Richard. It was an amazing presentation. We're very lucky to have you. I've seen presentations all around North America, and you're still my favorite. Okay, we're going to leave the chat room open for a couple of minutes if anybody has any questions. If you don't want to talk to us in the chat forum, you can always email us at the email that Richard had sent us. And, don't forget to invite your friends and your family and anybody else who's wanting to learn about Kangen water. We're here for you, and we love doing what we do.